And we are live with the Sola San Diego podcast. It is February 23rd, episode number 10. Thank you guys for logging in here. I got Haley right here on my right.
Hello.
We got Jonel here on the podcast
How's
today.
it going, everybody?
Jonel is a rock star, tattoo artist at our Mission Valley East location. Just absolutely crushes it in everything he does, and just an awesome dude. Wanted to get him on the podcast today. You know, we've had a few beers, you know, beforehand. You know, chat about what's going on in his life, how he came up as a tattoo artist in San Diego, and just wanted to get him on. He's a cool guy. Cool. What's up, Jonel?
How's it going, you guys? Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah,
of course.
We're stoked.
So just kind of starting it off, like, who are you? How did you come up as a tattoo artist here in San Diego? And how did it go? Like,
we want to know
I want to know everything about Jonel.
Cool. My name is Jonel. Born and raised Japan. Lived there for 9 years. Moved to Chicago for a little bit after that. My dad was in the military. And then moved here to San Diego in the 5th grade and have been here ever since. So love the city. It's my home. And I actually haven't started my tattoo journey till literally after high school.
Really?
Yeah. I actually got my first tattoo when I was 17 years old.
Oh, yeah, it was an underground tattoo.
Exactly. It was one of those those garage things, you know what I mean?
We won't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it?
It was actually the ones on my hands.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mentioned this to you guys before, but I'll mention it here for the podcast. But I have a family on my right hand. I'm right-handed, so my family's like, you know, my dominant hand, my main, and then I have friends on my left, which is, you know, my secondary hand. And then when I pray, those two come together because those are the most important things in my life. And that was kind of one of the things that kind of, I guess, started me off.
Yeah.
You know, just more of like, I wanted things with meaning and, you know, putting it on my body and, you know, kind of making a statement for what I believe in, what I stand for.
Yeah.
And what actually got me into tattooing, because I've been an artist my whole life. I always drew as a kid, but never ever thought that I would actually become a tattoo artist. But what actually got me interested in it was kind of these, you know, getting this done, you know, watching the guy do it. I mean, I'll admit it wasn't the best, you know, place to get it done, but I mean, you know, it worked out, and happy that it, you know, turned out okay. Yeah. But just kind of watching him, I was just like, I could do this, you know, this is something that I could get into.
Right.
And yeah, pretty much that's kind of where it started, and, you know, just stuck with it, and I'm happy that where I'm at right now, you know. So
yeah. What?
Cool.
So you decided to do tattoo artistry, and what was like your first? Like, were you doing it out of your garage, or you're like going to friends' houses, or what were you doing? What were you doing?
So I was living with my parents at the time. Literally, like I said, it was right after high school. I actually had a buddy that was telling me, he was like, hey, you know, like a good thing to practice on is either like there's like fake synthetic skin.
I remember that.
Yeah, they had that.
What is it?
I don't know exactly what it is. It's more like a rubber. I tried it out and I wasn't the biggest fan because it didn't really feel authentic to me.
Interesting.
And I had a buddy that said, hey, why don't you try pig skin? So
what?
Yeah, so I actually went to my local butcher, got some pig skin, and would practice on that. And I did that for a good while.
Dang.
Yeah.
At your parents' house?
At my parents' house.
Were they really supportive, or I'm sure they were when bringing dead pigs?
Yeah. So you know, I started off very, you know, not knowing what I was doing. Well, you know, getting my tattoo done was in a garage, and I'll admit, you know, like as happy as I am with the tattoos, it did kind of make me realize what and what not to do in terms of, you know, sanitary and all that good stuff. Yeah. So, you know, starting out with nothing, you know, I did have to work out of my parents' garage, but wasn't tatting anybody yet, you know, just kind of learning the process, you know, had the pigskin, practicing on that.
Were you going to school, or were you in high school? You were just out of high school?
Correct. So I just graduated high school, going to college, was working retail jobs, and this is kind of something that I did on the side. I didn't really think that I would kind of, you know, take this as a career. It was more something that was just a hobby, but it was just something that I just kept up with. And I didn't necessarily go the conventional way. I mean, I know this may piss off a lot of artists, that are out there, but I didn't start off with an apprenticeship.
Yeah.
Was so new to the industry. I didn't really know anybody that did tattoos. It was, I just did a lot of like online research of like what to do and stuff like that. And I didn't really have an avenue or anything to go to when it came to that. So, just me practicing in my garage and doing stuff with the pigskin. I did that for a good while. I did understand a little bit of the more the sanitary aspects of it. Like I knew how to be clean, and I knew all of that good stuff. I know everything needs to be new and stuff like that. There was a local place that sold tattoo supplies, which I would go to all the time and get supplies there. Very clean, sanitary, unopened stuff. That's what I would use to practice on. And I did that for maybe like 2 years. 2 years of just practicing on pigskin, and actually my family members.
Those like getting ready, kind of.
Just kind of getting ready. Yeah. Just kind of getting ready. My family members were actually the ones that were, the ones that allowed me to tattoo them in the beginning.
Wow.
Yeah, they trusted me enough, Yeah.
What was your first tattoo that you ever did on like a body part? Do you remember?
Yeah. So as mentioned before, I was working out at the garage, and I remember, I tattooed my uncle, and it was crazy because I remember during the time where I was so nervous because this is the first time I'm actually
and your uncle.
Yeah. I was like, this is gonna be permanent. This is it. And it was crazy because I remember, holding the machine, getting ready to do my first line on him, and when I did it felt right. Like it felt fluid, and everything just kind of went. I'll admit, the first design. The first design I did, I'll admit, it probably wasn't the right design, because it was a massive design. Like it wasn't anything all small. It was
you did
huge.
A big piece.
I did a really big piece for my very first, very detailed. I remember it. It was on his arm. Oh. Yeah. So when I did that, it just felt right. And I remember, just doing it at the garage, and I was like, man, this is ghetto as fuck. Excuse my language. Yeah, of course. But I was like, you
gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. Right? So I was like, this is so ghetto. And then I was, very happy and, very blessed that he actually builds houses. So he was like, hey, let's build you a room. So at my parents' house, we actually have this, it's kind of like an outdoor area. It had a roof, but didn't have like walls. And we're like, hey, let's build you a tattoo room. So he pretty much put walls up, insulation, put a whole new flooring in, and it was literally my tattoo shop that I started out of.
Wow.
Yeah, so I started out of the house, just, like I said, just tattooing family members. I remember my first ever client was from the gym. I used to go to the gym and just go up to people like, hey man, who did your tat? And like, hey, I'm an artist, this and that. I'm just starting, blah blah blah. And they were down for it. Yeah. And then, bring them over and do their piece, and just kind of, that's pretty much how I started. This was before Instagram was pretty popping off. This was kind of Facebook times, but didn't really do any real like internet marketing. It was just kind of more word of mouth. Right. And then, just
it's really boots on the ground marketing, going into your gym and just asking someone where they got their piece done. Yeah. I'm sure their other tattoo artist was like, oh, where'd this guy go? Yeah. I stole it from you is what happened.
Yeah. And they would just tell their other friends. And then that's kind of how like I built my clientele slowly. Yeah. And I remember during that time, I was like, I did a few people here and there, but I was like, man, I really need to like be in a shop, like I need to actually have that real tattoo experience. And I got really lucky and very blessed, because during that time when I was thinking about it, my mentor's brother-in-law. He saw one of the pieces that I did on one of my friends, and he was like, hey man, like who did your piece, this and that. Like it's clean, this and that. And then, my buddy told me, and then literally he hit me up and was like, hey man, I seen your work. My brother-in-law has a shop if you're ever interested. And I was like, dude, like I was literally just manifesting and thinking about this, and it came to me, you know. So then met my mentor. His name was Danny Bisa, Red Dirt Tattoo. Shout out to that guy. I love that guy. I was already tattooing at the time, you know. I kind of already knew what to do, but he fine-tuned my skills, taught me, you know, what to do, kind of this and that, and just really helped me without my journey. And you know, I couldn't thank that guy enough, you know. So worked there a good while. We moved around, and it was actually,
you kind of rolled with him. Like, how many people
him.
were like in that group of like people that he
under
his wing?
For sure. So I was the only one pretty much under his wing, and we had a few other artists that were with us at the shop.
Cool.
And just moving around, we kind of downsized. We were originally in Chula Vista. We had a shop in Chula Vista.
Nice.
And then we moved to National City. We were there for a good while. And it was actually during COVID when kind of like everything kind of shut down is when, you know, we all kind of had to stop. Our lease ended. He ended up going back to Guam. He's from Guam, to open up his second location. So he was there for a little bit. So I kind of went back to my parents' house during the time. And I remember coming back, I was like, man, I haven't seen this home studio in forever, you know, because it's been so long.
You're like right where I started.
Yeah, right where I started.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, I was there for a while, and then just kind of looking for a place, and, you know, eventually found Sola, and I'm very happy to be with you guys. So it's been amazing.
We were kind of talking about it earlier, but wanted to definitely make a point that, like, we were talking about how you were trying to find shops to open up with before you found Sola, and they were kind of like turning you away.
Oh, correct.
Because they saw your work and they saw that you were a tattoo artist, and there is that stigma.
Correct.
To tattoo artists. So like, kind of speak a little bit about that and how that was, because I'm sure that's really tough, like being such a creative person and like caring so much about your work that like you're going up to someone and wanting to open a shop, and they know you're legit, but they just the line of work you are in has a stigma on it.
Correct.
And still to this day, which is so tough.
You know, before finding Sola, I was, you know, asking different places, and unfortunately, as accepted that tattoos are now, I do still feel like the stigma of tattoos is kind of prevalent, because literally everywhere I'd go that was in a nice area, in a nice spot, I'd tell the guy, like, hey, you know, like, there was this one spot who literally had all service-based businesses. They had haircuts, they had nails, this and that. Literally everything was service-based, and there was one spot open. And I told him, I was like, hey, man, you know, like, you're just missing this place, you know? And I'll admit, I did have to kind of tippy-toe around the whole tattoo thing. I called it body art. And it was funny.
You had to. That's what you have to do to survive, right?
Yeah, you know.
Permanent makeup.
Correct. So it was funny because I was like, hey, I do body art, and he thought that I painted on body.
No
way. I just painted. Yeah, but then literally, he was kind of open to it at that time, but then literally right when I had to tell him, because obviously he'd have to know, and I told him, I was like, no, I'm a tattoo artist. Like immediately, right when he heard tattoos, he was like,
At first, was he like, can you practice your body art?
Oh, no.
And you were like, take out a you're about to do it. And
so I never met the guy. Yeah, I never met the guy. He just had a number, and I just called him.
Probably an old head.
Probably, yeah. And I think the only thing that really sucked about that, and I get it. I understand that there's like an image that, these people want to uphold and stuff like that. But it was like, man, like you hadn't even seen my work, you haven't even seen what I'm able to do, and like what I'm able to output, and like the people I could bring to this community, and that was kind of one of the things that got me like, man, like this stigma's still around. And
you guys are just a bunch of punks.
Exactly. No, exactly.
Punks is what you're doing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and that was the thing.
signs.
Like everywhere that I would look that allowed it was in a bad area. Yeah. And that was unfortunate, because it's like, man, like we're here to create art. We're here to do something, amazing for people,
expressing themselves.
Exactly.
And it's very important to people.
Exactly. And it was just heartbreaking knowing the fact that like only these places would allow it,
Right.
But
and so you came to Sola, you found Sola. How did you end up finding us in general?
So my sister, she's actually an artist that works with me. Her hairstylist was actually the one that was like, hey, like you should look into Sola because they have, you know, places that allow this stuff. And it was crazy because during that time I was living in Chula Vista. Well, I still live in Chula Vista, but I was looking at the one in Eastlake, and Eastlake and Chula Vista, they do not allow tattooing.
I actually didn't know that. I thought Eastlake and Chula Vista were okay.
Yeah, they don't allow. Well, I mean, I know it's the city.
Yeah,
it's the city. They don't allow it, and I know that.
Wow.
I know that there's specific buffers. I don't know exactly, you know, what, you know, constitutes what actually the city, but I know there's certain buffers, like you can't be in a specific certain feet within like a school or you know, stuff like that, or like residential housing. So that was one of the main drawbacks that, you know, was kind of there in terms of finding a place. And then
you originally were trying to get into our South Bay location.
Correct.
They could not give you a business license. Because of that specific zoning.
Correct.
You came to us and you were like, I really want to still be with Sola. Like, what other locations could I be in?
Yeah.
And we just had a studio open up, a triple 200 square feet, which are our biggest studio that we do have in a Sola space, and just lined up perfectly. It honestly did so good at our Mission Valley East location. Very, very good.
Yeah, honestly, like, you know, like I said, like, I think things happen, you know, for a reason, and all these places that I was looking into, I got turned down for that reason, you know, and just going from place to place trying to find the spot. Once I found the spot in the Sola Mission Valley, it was perfect for me. I was like, man, this is it, you know, it feels like home, you know. It feels like home. Everyone there is amazing. The community is amazing.
They're kind of crazy.
We are a little bit.
Shout out Mission Valley East.
I know, for real.
All creatives are, you know. It takes a little bit of crazy to be a creative.
But we love it.
One thing I did want to mention, which we did kind of talk about a little bit before, was that the stigma of tattoo artistry, I feel like, is going in the right direction. When I was trying to get a job right out of college, it was like, you can't show your tattoos. You have to have your arm sleeves rolled down and like make sure you cover up your neck, like if you had neck tattoos. But like, I feel like it's getting way more like inclusive in terms of like people getting a job. Like, there's doctors that do have full sleeves. Is there anyone that you've done like art tattooing on that like does have like that upper level like job that does require like?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, as you said, it's starting to become more acceptable, and I'm very happy about that. You know, because it gives people an avenue to actually show off their work. You know, so I'm very happy that it's starting to become more acceptable. I do a lot of nurses, and it's super cool because I always hear like, hey, you know, like my patients say, hey, like I like your stuff, and it's nice. It's nice to know. That's because cool. You know, they deal with a lot of elderly, and it's a conversation starter that they're able to talk to them about, and they tell me that it brings them joy because, you know, it's a beautiful piece that they're able to look at, and it's just something that they're able to talk to. You know, my homie, he has a hand piece, and see, that's kind of one of the ones that he has a hand piece, and it's for his mother. She unfortunately had passed away, but the piece was dedicated for her, and you know, all his patients that see it, you know, they ask about it, and he's able to tell that story and stuff like that. And that's one of the things that, you know, is mind-boggling and is very, you know, endearing to me about tattooing, is that, you know, I'm able to do these pieces for people for that, you know, mean specific things, and are able to essentially kind of change their life in a sense. You know what I mean? Like as something small as a piece, as small or as big as the piece is, it has a very big impact on the person, and it's very heartwarming to me because. Here's an example. There's this one dude who, I can't mention any names unfortunately, but you know, he was going through some tough times, and he had a piece. He wanted a small script that said, you know, it's okay. Literally, it's okay. 2 words, two you know, small words, and it was on his arm. And he told me that, you know, after I did it, like it made him like better in a sense, because literally he just looked at his arm and saw the piece, and he knew that everything in the end is going to be okay, you know. And that was just something like, man, you know, like I was a part of that,
right?
You know?
So you do that for him. Awesome. He sees that work that you did every single day.
For sure. And
that's awesome.
It's I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it. Like just the whole process of tattooing just is amazing to me. Like it first just starts off as an idea, you know, we kind of go back and forth, and then it comes a sketch, and then literally becomes reality, and it's literally on the person forever, you know? And
right.
it just I get so excited every time. Like every piece that I do, every piece is different. Every time I'm done, I'm just like, man, you know, I did that. I do.
And you told us it's really important that the tattoo's meaningful and not just something like random.
Very
together.
Very. I love when you know, tattoos have meaning, just because it makes me put, you know, I always put 110% in, but when it's that, I put 1,000 in, you know, because I want it to be special. I wanted to have that impact on that specific person, and you know, like I said, when I'm able to achieve that, you know, it's very comforting to me, and it's very you know, it fills my heart, you know, it fills my heart.
For sure. Yeah. Well, what are the type of pieces that you specialize in?
So I specialize in a lot of floral work, geometric, mandalas, stuff like that, a lot of dot work, Japanese and Polynesian tribal. That's more of like the stuff that I like to stick in. A lot of people, they like to say that my line work is amazing. You know, I don't want to be that guy and say it is, but you know,
I tune horn, you know, do what you need to do.
Brag.
Do you mind doing a little segment like that we're going to start out? It's called the rapid fire segment.
Oh, of course.
Rapid fire questions to you.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah,
on the spot.
All right, cool. Right on the spot. Fan of tribal tattoos?
Yes. Depends on what kind, though.
Do you ever think you would own your own business?
Yes.
How many people have you seen cry in your chair?
Oh, I've actually seen a few, and it's so funny because when they do, I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't mean it, I swear.
It's mostly dudes, right?
Oh man. So going on this, I know I'm sorry, I'm going on a tangent, but it's so funny because I feel like dudes are the worst.
Really?
Dudes are the worst.
I agree.
When I tell women, it's so much easier than I tell men.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. How much do you love Sola San Diego? Scale of 1 to 10.
Ooh, 11.
Oh,
yes.
Dang. That fills our heart, you know?
Yes.
So I know you work with your sister. Does working with a sibling ever get on your nerves?
Oh, no, never, of course. I love working with her. Honestly, you know, my sister, she was doing some other stuff at the time, and she wasn't happy with her job at the time that she was doing it, and she asked me, she was like, hey, you know, can you teach me how to tattoo? And I was like, yo, of course. And it was crazy because during that time, I was like, dude, I think it's time for me to teach somebody, you know, because I worked for a good while. I forgot how many years I was into tattooing. I've actually been tattooing for 13 years.
Wow.
So I forgot exactly when it was, but I was like, I think it's time for me to teach somebody. And, you know, behold, it was my sister. And I'm honestly very blessed and happy that it was her, because I'm able to work with her every day. And that's something that I love, you know. I'm able to see her every day. We always talk about tattoos and what we're doing and stuff like that.
Awesome.
And I love it. Yeah.
Sorry, going off on the tangent just a little bit more.
Yeah.
Do you guys like share clientele like a little bit, or just
of course.
like throw each other?
So for me, at least for me, you know, like I personally don't mind if my clients go to whoever, you know, like I don't specifically let my client like I don't say, hey, you have to go to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's up to them. If they want to come to me, cool. If not, then that's fine.
Yeah.
Though I think the only thing is that, say if I'm working on a piece and it's unfinished and they go somewhere else to finish it, that's a little bit like, man, you know what I mean? But if a piece is done, but yeah, my sister and I, we've collaborated on many pieces. Like,
cool.
Yeah,
That's so cool.
That's awesome.
That's just
It's
so
dope.
awesome.
I haven't met her, but she sounds awesome.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
Really nice.
You know, getting back on this, you know, rapid fire segment. Sorry, we had to pause for a second. Now we're back on.
Yeah, we're back. I pressed play.
Apologize about that.
Have you ever effed up a tattoo?
Oh. I don't want to necessarily say I effed up, but, you know, there's times where something did go astray, like some people moving and, you know, lines weren't
you
as
blame
straight.
them.
I mean, you know, I'm a little at fault sometimes, but, you know, ultimately at the end, you got to make it correct.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
You
always make it right. That's always good. That's good.
For sure.
How cool is it being a father?
Ooh, I love it. I love it, man. I love my baby girl.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's awesome.
She's cute.
Thank you.
Favorite sports team?
Padres.
Yeah, I mean, you
Right.
got it. That's dope. I always think I have like kind of dyslexia when I look at it though.
Oh no.
I'm like, am I?
It's just a
am
style,
I?
yeah.
Am I? Are you in a mirror right now? How many tattoos do you have? And we'll go around the table and say how many tattoos each of us have.
Sounds good. So I mean, I'll put the ones on my hands. I'll count them as one.
Okay.
Because they essentially are one. They're two, but same meaning.
Yeah.
I have a full sleeve, and I have a whole leg piece that I actually did myself.
Dang.
Yeah.
What?
I did yeah. Just did my leg myself. I do have a part in the back that I didn't get to do because I couldn't reach it. My homie did it, but for the most part, everything else I did on my leg. But I think that
On
you
your
count that
own.
as 3, I guess. Yeah.
3 tattoos?
Yeah, that's 3. Well, 2 huge ones and then 2 small ones that I count as one.
You must like love pain if you were able to do like a full piece of your
Or you just used to it, right?
Well, so I mean, I'll admit it did hurt, but I think for me, like doing it, I think it wasn't as bad because I was in control of the situation. You know what I mean? Like I knew when the pain was coming, I knew when to stop. And it's so funny because I have a video of me, tagging myself in the video. I look so composed, like all this and that. But behind the scenes, I'm like, yo.
You're like crying.
Yeah. No, there is something to be said about like if you are controlling that versus someone else because you don't know mentally when to prepare
Correct.
for the pain to happen.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? How many, Haley? How many tattoos do you have?
I have 3 tattoos.
You have 3 tattoos. Okay.
Yeah. How about you, Andrew?
No. I mean, we want to stay on you for just a second here, because we might know a little bit. But what are the tattoos that you do have? Yeah, you have a.
Well, I
Where are they?
have 1 I like a lot, and
Nice.
2 I was very young and made some mistakes.
Okay.
So love hearing that Jonel tells these young kids, like, think about it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Don't do it.
Yeah.
I have a stick and poke that I tried to hide from my dad for my teenage years when I was 15. Sorry, Dad.
Oh man.
And then I was blessed to decide to put Carpe Diem on my ribcage. So.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's always a popular one.
Really
To have Carpe Diem.
You know when you get older and you just regret decisions? Like I tell
Yeah,
people
all the time, yeah.
I tell people these are my regrets.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. I have no tattoos currently, but am open to Jonel tattooing me, possibly for a YouTube video.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
I'll
He
do
said
it for the
I'm
content.
down for it. I'm
He
down
said
for
it,
it. I'm down
everyone.
for it.
Yeah, I'm in. You guys heard it here first. I have 0 tattoos, and I'm down to put Carpe Diem.
I'm
No.
gonna text Taryn right now.
I will cut that out. No Carpe Diem. I'm down to put something else, potentially blindfolding, and then putting something else on me. But I have to have boundaries.
Ooh.
I just think it'd be so good for content.
It would be great. I think we should not tell you what it is.
I think it'd be cool. It'd be
Yeah.
funny. Yeah.
It's gonna be
I like
Carpe
that.
Diem.
Just so we can match forever.
Right. Definitely comment below and in the YouTube videos, the Instagram photos, if you do think that I should do this, or if you think it's really stupid, definitely let me know.
Yeah.
Or what it should be on me that we should do.
A lion across your chest.
A full-on lion. Yeah. I'll have to shave my whole chest hairs. Right? Is that how it happens? You
Yeah.
have to literally.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You do have to prep the area
Yeah.
because hair follicles could contain bacteria and stuff like that. You don't want to.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of hair, so we're gonna have
Correct.
to weed whacker.
Yeah.
Maybe. No, just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for watching the video and listening to the podcast. We appreciate you guys. As always, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Adios.
Peace.